Kristin MacRae with Organizing in Our Eye. Kristin,
hi Molly.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good to be here again.
Yeah, I know. We missed you. You've been super busy, whipping everybody else in the street.
Yes.
And not visiting us. So we're sad about that. But glad to have you back
Thanks.
in studio with us. So today we're going to talk about decluttering. We talk about decluttering. We talk about organizing. We talk about all these things put together. But we're kind of getting back to the basics.
Yes.
Getting into okay. Let's see, count them up. I think you actually said it was 7, but you told me 8. Well, whatever. We'll add in another reason. So 7 or 8-ish reasons why you need to declutter. Talk to us about the kind of the decluttering process and why it's important.
So I always say decluttering is the first step before you get organized, but it's really not. So we always talk about getting past the overwhelm, planning out our project, like getting all that out of the way. Then once you have your project on your calendar, you're ready to go. Now you're going to start. Now the first thing you're going to do is declutter. Okay. So it's so important. And I always talk about, we've had so many tragedies with hurricanes this year and storms and people evacuating with fires. So I always say, it makes me think about if you had to grab like 10 things in an emergency, aside from people and pets, what would you grab? And do you have access to it to grab it in a matter of minutes if you were told you had to evacuate your house? So I always put that in if people have a lot of stuff, and that's the first thing I'll say is if you had to leave right now, what would you grab and how fast could you find it and what's really important to you and what's not. It kind of puts things in perspective of all that stuff in your basement that's just taking up space and you haven't looked at how much do you really need and do you really need it? How important is it to you? So I always talk about that first. It kind of puts things in perspective a little bit.
Okay, hopefully that helps you. For me, it really made me think, and then it just made me think of This Is Us. So if you watch This Is Us, you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's talk about, let's kind of take it through the steps. So number 1, decision making is easier. And I feel like that's so true.
Because think about how much, all right, we'll take the clothes for example.
Okay, clothes, yes.
You have tons of clothes in your closet right now. You're stepping over things to get in on the floor.
Or in the cabinets,
you haven't decluttered in a while.
them.
How long does it take you to make a decision about what you want to wear? Pretty much you're probably wearing the same stuff, but you have to, I talk about this a lot, how many things do you touch before you find the thing that you need? How long is it taking you to make decisions about what you need? In your kitchen, how many pots do you have in the kitchen that you're not using, but you have to make a decision about, how many you're touching before you find it, or how many you really need? In the office, think about that as you're going to start this process about, how long is it going to take you to find something? How long does it take you to make a decision about what you need?
Okay, so
it gets easier when you're streamlined and you don't have much, you have just what you need. Decisions are really, really easier.
When there's just not as much stuff around, you don't have to get around to it.
Right.
All right, you'll also have more free time.
More free time. How much when you're sitting in clutter, how long does it take you to find something? Again, all of this ties in together. You're wasting time in your house if it's full of clutter. Think about how long it takes you to find a pen, how long it takes you to find an outfit in the bathroom. Go through your house, write all this down and write these questions down. How long does it take you to find things when you're looking for them? You're gonna have that free time when you declutter your home.
And I like that you said you probably waste a lot of time and really energy looking for stuff, whether it's looking for socks, looking for the perfect pair of shoes, whether it's looking for whatever the documents might be that you're looking for, the bill you need to pay.
Right.
Just looking around for stuff, that gift card, because we talk a lot about filing the gift cards and that kind of thing. So if you're looking around for stuff, you're wasting a lot of time and energy. I know when I'm looking around for stuff, I'm like, oh, day's done.
Yeah, and then you get stressed out. And you hear so many people, I'm on Facebook, and so many people saying, I don't have time in the day to do this. I don't have time, but I want you to evaluate what's going on in the house, and maybe you can get some free time by just decluttering this weekend, and that might help. And then just to find those little pockets of time, it makes a big difference. And then maybe you can ease up on saying, I don't have the time, when you really can do things to maybe save a half an hour a day. I mean, what would you do with that extra half hour? So that's something to think about.
Enjoy, rest, enjoy, watch This Is Us. Sorry, you got me. Okay, you'll be more focused. Talk to me about this. How can we be more focused just by decluttering?
So I say this a lot too. You have that physical clutter. That leads to mental clutter, because now you're thinking about, you have this physical clutter, and now you're thinking about, oh my God, what's in this clutter? Is there something important in there? It turns into mental clutter. Now that mental clutter causes you to lose focus, because now your train of thought has gone somewhere else, and then that lack of focus reduces your productivity, and it doesn't make you productive anymore. So just by having that clutter in your house, you've just it's a snowball effect, and now you've just lost productivity because you don't know what you're doing anymore. That mental clutter has bogged down your mind, and now you've lost focus. So it really it plays a big part in your day-to-day life, having this clutter around you.
And really, once you declutter, we've talked about this a lot, is really setting up those systems to help you get organized. So that's kind of the step. This whole getting decluttered is not really the first step, but kind of the second step along to help you get those systems in place and help you get streamlined. So that was really helpful.
Yeah, you have to declutter first before you can even think about getting organized. And if you don't want to get organized this weekend, you want to do a project, just go around the house and declutter. Like, just take one area and just start decluttering, and then leave the pile of what you're keeping, and then you can organize it later. But at least you're on a roll. You've done something. You decluttered. I'm sure there's paper you can declutter this weekend, or maybe a sock drawer. Like you said, break down the process and just start that decluttering process, and you're going to feel so much better. You'll feel a lot lighter.
You'll feel lighter. Okay. Number 4, and I think everybody wants this. If you declutter, it'll cut down on cleaning time.
Oh my God. Who doesn't like to, not many of us like to clean.
No. Except for when you just you need to just scrub something, right? So besides those times,
right? So think about right now the clutter you have sitting on your kitchen counter. When's the last time you actually cleaned the top of your counter? That's another thing too. Like, it saves on cleaning time, but it also, think about where your clutter is and those spaces underneath that haven't been cleaned in forever. So just a matter of, it can work both ways. Think about, if you have the clutter, when's the last time you actually cleaned that space? Or when you release that clutter, it's so much easier to clean because you're not moving so much around. You're probably not even cleaning those spaces right now. So think about how dirty your home is, and I hate to say that, but really, when you have these piles, think about what's under them.
Spring is almost here.
There you go.
Spring cleaning time is almost here. So start the decluttering so you can ramp it up, and then it won't be so overwhelming in the process.
Exactly. You'll feel so much better.
You'll feel so much better. Okay, number 5, you'll create a positive energy in your home.
Yeah, so often I walk into clients' homes, and I have this, I'm in tune with it. I walk in, either the house makes me really tired, or it makes me energetic, and I can feel, when you're in your house every day, sometimes you can't feel it, but there's like if you have a lot of clutter around, there's dead energy in your home. You're going to feel tired. Some people get sick from their clutter. And I'm not talking about hoarders. I'm just talking that if you have a lot of stuff in your home right now, you're going to feel the effects of it. It's going to make you tired. It could affect your allergies because now there's a lot of dust in the house. So the energy changes very quickly when you start decluttering. When I work with clients a lot, even in a bedroom, if there's clutter, that's the place you want to have the most serene atmosphere. You want to be at peace when you're sleeping. So when your bedroom's cluttered, you don't sleep well. Again, your allergies bother you. And again, you're stressed out. You're stressed out about everything that's like on top of you in there. So many times when I walk in a bedroom, when I see the clutter, my energy goes right down. And my clients too, and it's just that dead energy. But when we're done, you feel like a new person. It's crazy, the effects. People say, oh, Kristin, you're just saying this, but you really feel the effects when that room is decluttered and you shifted the furniture around, you cleaned. It really makes a difference. It overcomes you, the positive energy.
It's hard too in New England. Sometimes the spaces here aren't large.
Right.
Some of us live in homes
rooms
that have small rooms because back then that's just how things were. Closet space is very small, so it can be tough to make decisions on where to put things, especially when you have rooms that are small or storage space that's small. So being able to declutter, window things down as you go along in a process rather than just one day, one project, throwing it all out. You've told us many times before, that doesn't work.
Right.
You're not setting yourself up for success there. So being able to just declutter, go through a little bit at a time, get rid of things, and however you choose to do so can definitely help and create a better energy as well. So you're not just feeling overwhelmed in your own home, in your own space.
Yeah, if you're not feeling well, if your home is making you sick, then it's time to do some decluttering and get organized.
Okay, so we always like this one. You'll find money!
Oh, I talk about this a lot too. You're going to find money. When I'm going through homes, whether it's the paper, whether it's in the bed, I swear every room I've gone in every house I organize, or even businesses, we find money. So you don't realize, like, you come home and put money in a plastic bag, or you come home and put it in a paper pile, and then more paper gets on top of it. You go on the bedroom bureau and you drop money there or in the closet. It's going to be everywhere. So if you want to find money this weekend, definitely start decluttering an area. I guarantee, email me, I guarantee you'll find money. You can tell me how much you found this weekend. In the form of gift cards, uncashed checks is a big one. Uncashed checks, and now these checks are uncashed. And now they passed the limit, so now you have to call, if it's an insurance check, you have to call the insurance company. It's a big thing. So see how much money you can find this weekend just by decluttering. That'll motivate you a little bit.
I always love too, if you haven't worn something in a really long time and you reach in the pocket, whether you want to wash it or you're like, oh, should I donate this? You reach in and you're like, yeah, money.
And that's another thing I tell clients. If you're going to declutter your closets, be sure if you're donating, check the pockets because might be some valuable things. Even keys, like we found keys in pockets. Like, make sure if you're decluttering your clothes, check the pocket.
Check the pockets. All right, so you'll find money.
Yes.
You will save money.
You're going to save money because I want you to think about how much you have in your home and how much you're not using and how much you've wasted money on. So many of you still have tags on clothes that you've spent a lot of money on.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel guilty getting rid of them because you haven't worn them, but you have no desire to wear them. So think about how much money you've wasted on clothes or any purchases for the home that are stuck in the basement now that you haven't used. So that might motivate you a little bit to go through and get rid of some things. But it's so important to declutter and
get rid of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that rule: if you haven't worn it within like either 6 months or if you haven't worn it in a year, it's time to move on.
Yeah. It's a preference. I say a year, and then if we're putting away winter clothes now, I'll say, okay, they might say, well, I don't know if I'm going to wear this next winter. I'll say, save it for next winter. When you bring out your winter clothes, revisit, and then if you don't want it, you can get rid of it. Because I never like to tell people that they have to throw anything away, but you can give yourself a little leeway with that. You know what you want to get rid of and what you don't want to get rid of, but think about, well, can I save it till next season? And when next season comes, if I know I won't wear it, that's the limit. I'm going to get rid of it. So a year, 6 months, everybody's different, so...
Yeah. I've had stuff where I've put it away and then like 3 years later,
you grabbed it.
I pull it out and then now I wear it all the time.
Well, hey, that's the thing. I don't want you to say, oh, I have to get rid of everything. Make the decisions. You know what you don't want. Those are the things all right, get that out now.
Yeah.
And then you have those maybe items that you might keep, but you'll feel better because you know you're getting rid of a ton of stuff aside from those little maybe items that you can hold on to.
As long as your maybe pile isn't everything.
Yeah, then
it's okay, right? As long as the maybe isn't everything.
Right.
All right, so you'll save money. And the next one is it will help you if you're moving. I always try to keep this in mind.
Yes.
Like, if you don't want to move it later, then you probably just shouldn't keep it, right?
Right, exactly. When you're getting ready to move, oh my God, if you know you're moving in 6 months, I want you to start decluttering now because the last thing, so much is going to come at you when you're getting ready to move. The last thing you want to do is start going through your basement. Go through the basement now because chances are in 6 months, you're going to know that you don't want that stuff going forward. So just make a plan now to declutter that basement if you know you're moving. And get it out of the way while you have that free time now, because in 6 months when you're moving, it's going to be like craziness. So start decluttering now if you're going to move, and it's going to make taking the pictures in your home, because I hate when you see houses that are for sale and they have clutter everywhere because it's not great to look at. So start decluttering now if you know, that way the pictures will be better for your real estate agent, and your real estate agent will be able to make a better decision of how to price the house because that clutter won't be in the way. You can see the space in the closets and in the kitchen and in those other areas.
We thought about that when we were getting married. Do we really need these things, and do we want to move it later? Like when it's signing up for our registry, we're like, no, I don't want to move it. No, gift cards are fine.
Exactly.
Help us pay for vacation. I don't want to move it.
Right.
If you have a big library, do you really want to pay to move all those books, or do you want to pack them all up and move them?
Right.
That's a very heavy moving cost.
And you don't want to take anything with you that you know you're not going to use. Why would you want to try and get organized in your new home with stuff that you don't want?
You're like, I don't need this anymore. Yeah. And then you moved it, and now you're getting rid of it.
Exactly. So start decluttering now, and just think about the stuff in the basement. I just want to add this. There's so many people that have cluttered basements, and it becomes such an overwhelming task that nobody wants to go down there, but that's the one space that you actually need to give attention to. So I want you to think about decluttering. It's getting warmer out now, decluttering the basement, and how much, what's broken, what are you saving for other people? A lot of times people save things. I'm going to give it to my child, my grandchildren. I want you to think about if they really want it, because a lot of times they feel guilty taking it because they don't want to say no, but now it ends up in their basement and it becomes this vicious cycle. It just keeps getting passed down, but nobody wants it, but everybody feels guilty about it. So don't think that if you want it, if they don't want it, they're going to be honest with you. Hopefully they'll be honest with you, or if you're on the receiving end, be honest. If you really don't want it, don't take it, because it's just going to end up in your basement.
Or attic, or garage, or...
Yeah, and don't feel bad about throwing things out. A lot of people will say, I encourage people to donate, but if you're in the moment and you just feel like you need to throw something out, just throw it out. I threw out my wedding dress. Yeah, I did. Everyone falls on the floor when I say that. It was in a moment I wanted to sell it. at a yard sale. It didn't sell. People got mad at me on social media. You should have donated it. You should have done this with it. I'm like, you know what? It was my choice. I decided to throw it out in the moment, and it was done. I have a happy marriage. I've been married for 13 years. It has nothing to do with that. I have my memories from that. I'm not having children, so I don't need to save the wedding dress for anything. And that was my decision. But don't let people judge you for what you're doing with your stuff. So if you want to throw something out, just throw it out. Because some people will hang on to things forever because they feel guilty that they have to donate it. Don't feel, please, if you just want to get rid of something, if it's going to make you feel better to get rid of it in the moment, just get rid of it.
All right.
I know people are going to get mad at me for that. But you know what? Sometimes you have to say it so it gives people permission to let those things go.
Good for you. I wanted to sell my wedding dress, and then I just haven't gotten around to it.
Mine was in a ball in the basement after I got married, like forever. I'm like, what am I doing
Mine
with
was on the
this?
food down in the basement.
Yeah. So
sorry, everyone, if we've offended you.
Right,
Kristin threw hers out. I'm hanging on to mine. Don't get angry at me.
So
still happily married.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't write us.
So on that note, a lot of good places to donate to
Yes,
your items, whether
yes.
it's a wedding dress
Yes.
or other valuable products. Check them out
Yes.
so you can donate those. Kristin, always fun chatting with
Yes.
you. That was maybe 7-8 reasons. I lost track.
Yeah, that's right.
on reasons you need to declutter. Great chatting with you.
Thanks,
as always.
Molly.
You can find
I'll see
Kristin's.
you soon.
Thank you so much, Kristin. You can find Kristin's weekly columns on GoLocalProv.com. She writes for us weekly and has been doing so for quite some time. All right, we're going to switch from getting organized and energized with Kristin and talk about nutrition. So, March